Let me tell you something that might sting a little. Motivation is unreliable. Not weak, not broken, not evil, just unreliable. We've been sold this idea that motivation is the engine of success, that if you just feel inspired enough, everything will change. That one powerful video, one emotional speech, one late-night realization will permanently transform your life. But here's the brutal truth. Motivation is a mood, not a strategy. And moods don't build empires. Think about it. How many times have you felt that surge? That late-night fire where you said, "Tomorrow I'm waking up at 5 a.m. Tomorrow I'm changing my life." And for a day, maybe even a week, you did. Then what happened? The feeling faded. The excitement cooled. Life got loud again. And suddenly the same goals that felt urgent felt heavy. That's not because you're lazy. It's because motivation is emotional. And emotions fluctuate. Here's the first hook you need to hear. If you only move when you feel motivated, you will live in cycles instead of growth. Up, down, inspired, exhausted, focused, distracted. That roller coaster feels productive, but it's not sustainable. Let's break this down psychologically. Motivation is heavily tied to dopamine, the anticipation chemical. Dopamine spikes when you imagine change, when you visualize success, when something feels new. But once the novelty fades, the dopamine drops. And when dopamine drops, so does your drive. That's biology. You weren't designed to feel intensely motivated forever. Yet we shame ourselves for not maintaining a permanent emotional high. Here's something nobody tells you. The people you admire aren't more motivated than you. They're more disciplined than you. And discipline is boring. It's repetitive. It doesn't feel cinematic. It's doing the thing when your brain says, "Not today." The real gap between where you are and where you want to be is not motivation, it's structure. Look at athletes, look at entrepreneurs, look at artists. They don't wake up inspired every day. In fact, most days feel ordinary. Some days feel awful, but the system doesn't depend on their mood. That's the difference. Motivation says, "I'll start when I feel ready." Discipline says, "I start because I said I would." And that's brutal because it removes the romance from success. We love the highlight reels, the speeches, the transformations, the before and after montages. But the truth? Most of progress looks like quiet repetition in a room no one sees. Let me tell you a story. There was a writer who wanted to publish a book. For years he waited for inspiration. He waited for the perfect idea, the perfect mood, the perfect mental clarity. Weeks passed, then months, then years. He told himself, "I'm just not feeling it right now." One day he made a decision. 500 words a day, no matter what. Good day, bad day, tired, inspired, doesn't matter. The first month, miserable. The writing felt forced, the excitement wasn't there. But after 90 days, something shifted. The routine became identity. The resistance softened. And within a year, he had a completed manuscript. Not because he felt motivated, because he stopped negotiating with himself. The brutal truth is this: motivation gets you started, but systems keep you alive. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes you're not unmotivated. Sometimes you're just avoiding discomfort. We say, "I don't feel motivated to go to the gym." What we really mean is, "I don't feel like being uncomfortable." We say, "I'm not motivated to work on my business." What we really mean is, "I'm afraid it won't work." We say, "I'm not motivated to study." Translation? I'm scared of failing. Motivation fades fastest in the presence of fear. That's the part we don't admit, because it's easier to call ourselves lazy than to admit we're afraid. A lack of motivation is often a mask for emotional resistance. And once you see that, everything changes. Let's go deeper. Modern culture has destroyed our baseline for effort. We live in an era of constant stimulation, instant entertainment, instant dopamine. Scroll, swipe, click, repeat. Your brain is being trained to crave quick rewards. So when you sit down to do something slow, like learning a skill, building a body, creating something from scratch, it feels unbearable. Not because you can't do it, but because your nervous system is overstimulated. This is another brutal truth. You don't lack motivation, you lack boredom tolerance. The ability to sit with something that isn't instantly rewarding. The ability to repeat a task that doesn't clap for you. The ability to show up when no one is watching. That's rare now, and rare creates results. Let's talk about something even more uncomfortable. Sometimes you feel unmotivated because the goal isn't actually yours. Read that again. How many goals are you chasing because they look impressive? Because your parents expect it? Because your friends are doing it? Because social media glamorized it? Motivation dies quickly when the goal lacks emotional ownership. You can't force yourself to care deeply about something that doesn't align with you. That's why some people can grind for 12 hours straight on a passion project, but struggle to focus for 30 minutes on something they should want. Clarity fuels consistency more than hype ever will. So if you constantly lose motivation, ask yourself, do I actually want this? Or do I just want the validation that comes with it? Now here's the hardest truth of all. You will not always feel like becoming the person you want to be. Growth feels unnatural at first. Your brain prefers familiarity. Even if your current habits are holding you back, they feel safe, predictable, known. Changing requires friction, and friction feels like resistance. That's the moment most people quit. Because they assume resistance means wrong path. But often, resistance means new level. The moment you don't feel like doing it is usually the moment it matters most. Not in a dramatic way, in a quiet, ordinary, Tuesday afternoon way. When no one is cheering, when no music is playing, when it's just you versus your excuses. That's where identity is built. Let's reframe this. Instead of asking, how do I stay motivated? Ask, how do I reduce the need for motivation? Create smaller steps. Attach habits to routines you already have. Remove distractions from your environment. Lower the emotional weight of starting. Make the first action so small, it feels almost stupid not to do. Because starting is the hardest part. And once momentum builds, motivation often follows. But waiting for motivation to start? That's the trap. Another thing, stop romanticizing the grind. You don't need to feel intense every day. You don't need to wake up on fire. Real progress often feels neutral, almost boring. That's not a bad sign. That's stability. Intensity burns out. Consistency compounds. And compounding is invisible at first. One workout doesn't change your body. One study session doesn't change your intelligence. One day of discipline doesn't change your life. But 300 days? Now we're talking transformation. And none of those 300 days required cinematic motivation. They required showing up. Here's the final brutal truth. No one is coming to inject you with permanent drive. No video, not even this one, will keep you motivated forever. Motivation is a spark. You need fuel. Fuel is routine. Fuel is environment. Fuel is identity. So stop waiting to feel different. Build differently. Stop chasing the emotional high. Chase the daily action. Because the person who wins long-term isn't the most inspired. Kept going when inspiration left the room. And maybe that's freeing. Maybe it means you're not broken. Maybe it means the days you feel nothing, but still do something, are actually your most powerful days. You don't need more motivation. You need fewer negotiations with yourself. And once you understand that, everything changes. Like, subscribe, and join our journey into timeless depth. Share your thoughts below.